This is Maggie Wheeler, Janice from TV's Friends, and oh my God, you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
I'll do the beginning thing.
Oh, that's fine. You're in the captain's chair now. I don't have to say anything, but I just get to chime in now. I don't have to worry about anything. Just have to push buttons. I don't have to keep the conversations going. All I have to do is be snarky.
I pretended to interview her in Willy Wonka, and she knew how to work that pretend microphone.
Brought to you by the iPad.
That was American.
That's what I read. If you think about it, our country doesn't have much.
So now we're learning things.
We love learning.
Living in America is to register
I
with
forgot the
Selective
words
Service
once during
2018.
Augustus,
Why register?
and when totally like I gave him that look of. And he
got
picked
that.
up really quick and he said the line like,
I was Grandma Georgina.
I didn't see it. I didn't get a chance to
Pick a pocket.
Oh, she's running. She's running. She's running.
Carry on.
Is the door open? She's running.
Yeah, Kelly's open.
And I thought, okay, maybe they'll follow me because I realized right away what I did.
you can't just backtrack, yeah.
The other thing is that all their choreography goes along with the words too. So they started to do, and they were just like,
There she is.
I saw your white flower. Yeah, she did girl.
I almost wore that headband, but I
If you want to grab another chair, we can squeeze it in,
Yeah,
girl.
because Jen can scooch back. Oh, no, because you got to play with the mic thing. Never mind. Unless you want to talk.
Hi, dear.
we did that the first week.
Now that's
on camera.
Just like old times.
Philip.
Oh
Michael
my
Ann.
goodness.
It's short for Carrie Ann.
Okay.
and parents named you after someone they've never met.
Yeah, and
They meet me one day.
are you?
What's
Hi,
your
Sarah.
name again, dear? Sarah? Sarah, what's your last
It's
name?
not.
Well, I
How do
don't.
you spell that?
If I felt like it was spelling criticism,
R-E-A-S.
still
All of your
Help me out
Well,
one time,
have
dude.
Troy. I have some questions.
Tinker.
Tinker.
Think of Tinker toys, and you can.
But I have some questions that I want to ask of you as well. And they're not criticism. They're just why did this happen as
But I won't rest
this
until
or.
it does.
And then Jeynifer and
I can never show. I hope to be able to
we don't
see
need to
it
spend an hour
again.
talking.
we got about a minute, and then we're in.
No, and that's not what this show is about.
Oh, hi, Sarah. I didn't realize you were from that age. You're very small.
You might be right. I mean, you know,
I'm Carrie Ann. And you're Sarah. And it's very nice to meet you too.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to meet you last time. You were on with
I don't understand.
Alexa and
Yeah, just Glenn.
yeah, you only got to meet this scrub over here.
Like he's bipolar sometimes.
We're about 30 seconds out, y'all.
His shirt was on inside out, and he had mustard all over his face.
Well, I went up to him and I went, "Good to see you, Tony."
So I'm here.
Like,
You know, here.
so I know never to touch
Here.
her.
And they're like one, and then
Not that I really ever wanted to.
Gotcha.
And of course, I'm talking in that song. So.
Okay, here we go, guys.
so I'm gonna hit stop and ready to do your thing. I'm gonna hit stop and hit the ID and then you do your thing.
Okay, you can
It's your song, right?
Visit AM 1400 on the internet. It's www.kshp.com. AM 1400, KSHP, North Las Vegas.
Is it worth the waiting for till we live till 84? All we ever get is Gruel. It's Curtain Call with Erik Ball. Ha!
What'd you do with that money?
That was awesome.
I think it's important to start every show with a reinvented
Yeah,
rap.
I was just gonna start singing "Goof," glorious goof.
Well, welcome to Curtain Call. This is Erik Ball, and with me, as always, is Glenn Heath and Carrie Ann Parks.
Always?
Last couple weeks I haven't been here,
Okay.
but
You're always here.
Just checking.
Summertime, everyone's always flying around in going various places and busy with various things. And
welcome back.
Thank you. It's great. Thank you for holding down the fort. I appreciate it.
Well, we were attacked a couple of times, and I had to make reparations. But
well, that's why we keep the clubs under the table here. You know, just in case.
Oh, really? Thanks for letting me know that there were clubs underneath the table.
I have a machete. It's right here.
Yeah, they're fun.
I get a big pen, which I'll probably be clicking obsessively.
Well, today we have in the studio, we're going to talk about many things theater related, because between at least Glenn and I'm not sure how many shows you've seen in the last couple weeks, but between Glenn and I, we've seen enough to...
I saw 3 this week alone. So.
Yeah, I think I've seen 5 in the last week.
And how many of them were actually in New York?
5. so we're gonna talk about all these different shows, theater in general, and kind of you know, what to look forward to in the remaining part of the summer. What to look forward to next fall,
what
how
to
to
look
kind
forward
of get
to next
involved.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Tonight. I mean, there's stuff going on tonight.
Next fall. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
But before that, we do have guests in the studio. We have the British National Theatre of America.
I learned that that's pronounced bunta.
Bunta.
Oh, like a bunta cake.
No. That would be a bunta.
Well, they're here, the cast of Super Summer Theater's Oliver.
Yay!
So thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it.
I find it very unusual that none of us are British.
Yeah.
We left our British contingent.
Yeah, when Miles was here a couple of weeks ago, it was... I don't know if anyone else was falling into accent or not. But,
Yeah, my mother calls that an empathetic accent. When you can't help but you're talking to someone and you're all of a sudden like, oh, don't talk this way, but I'm talking this way to you, and I feel like I'm an idiot.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the type of show. I brought my cane and my London hat. If we want to go cocky,
newsies. I mean, you could be selling newspapers in New York too.
Yeah, but we put it on, and then you instantly have a Cockney accent. That's how it works. You know, I mean,
don't give away all the theatrical secrets.
Mr. Bumble has a funny hat, does he not?
See, he's the Beatle. He gets to have a funny hat.
And a mace, just like yours.
It's mace?
That's called a mace.
Oh, I thought he was like, please, sir, I want some more. No!
Peppered flavored.
We're taking it.
Well, we have 2 returning guests. The title actor. How do you prefer it, Sarah? Because you're a young lady, but you're playing a male character. Do you prefer actor or actress? Just so that I can continue this introduction in
That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
Actress.
The lovely Sara Andreas is back, and Jeynifer Tribbitt, director, and then
we have Troy Tinker, who plays Fagin, and Mikey Phillips, who plays Nancy, and yeah, I'm thrilled that you guys are here with us today. And you know, you had the opportunity to talk with them when they were on 2 weeks ago, but this is one of my favorite musicals in the world. I love this musical. It's one of those musicals, if you've never seen it, you gotta go see it. You have to, because it's for one, it's part of the iconic musical theater canon. You know what I mean? But not only that, but I think it's impressionable. You know, if you're a die-hard theater guru, you know, this is one of those shows that you can go and find great substance and go home and break out those tea and crackers and sit around the table and talk about how wonderful, or how you dissect it a little bit. Oh, but this and that.
It's good for parents too, because you know, if the kids mess up, you know, parents can say, "See what happens? You'll be sent out."
That's
true. Bumble's a verb in my house. We're gonna bumble you.
Oh, as
You'll
if
be
they know that
locked
Blink
in
is
a coffin
watching.
and eventually
Oliver was a bad child. He deserved everything he got. You're gonna go home and clean your room, right?
Yes. I get a tick in my eye every time they say Oliver, just because it's, you know, remembering the past. But it's also a great musical for families. It's a great family musical. Great to bring the kids. Great to bring Grandma and Grandpa out to the ranch, sit under the stars, and watch this show. And that's the other cool thing about the show, is that it's held out at the Super Summer Theater Spring Mountain Valley Ranch, and that in itself is a venue that everybody needs to go out and check out, because
it's so beautiful out there this time of year too.
It is.
I
All
mean,
the blossoming burrows.
Yes, the blossoming burrows and the dragon-sized flies that are out there. Which kudos on opening night, Sarah, for holding it together when that bug bigger than yourself smacked into you on stage. Not only once.
I want to hear the story.
have to.
What happened?
Okay, so we were doing the Brownlow scene, and this giant grasshopper landed on my side, and I didn't notice until we ended the scene and went into the next scene, but while I was backstage, it crawled up onto my shoulder, and I hadn't noticed, so I walked out, and I finally noticed when I started singing, because the whole audience was laughing.
Oh my gosh.
So I look over my shoulder. There's a huge basket.
It's like Disney's Rapunzel. That little green guy is her friend.
Oh, yes.
He had like a little friend.
I'm thinking Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, me too.
I'm dating myself. But Eric has yet to see it in Carrie Ann. Hasn't gone out there yet,
Not
and
yet.
I know they will.
This week.
But the laughing was with you. You held it together, and it was a very professional thing. And many people who've performed out at Spring Mountain have a similar bug experience.
I want to tell you mine. Can I tell you mine?
Yes, and I'll share the
You
one
have
from, it's not mine directly, it's Anita Bean's, but it's from a few weeks ago. So
when we did Beauty and the Beast, it was a couple years ago, Gaston, LeFou and Gaston, we were starting to interrupt Belle's groove and try to, work our way and make an impression upon her. And there was this moment where I struck a pose.
You were LeFou.
No, I was Gaston.
You were Gaston.
This is how it's going to be, huh? And then I struck a pose, and then she wanted to start to go around, and a bug flew right in my mouth. Like I don't even know what it was. Like right in my mouth. And I struck the pose, and it was almost as if on cue. Ta-da! Right in my mouth, and I went, and I spit it out. And let me tell you, it got the biggest laugh I've ever got on stage.
No one expectorates like Gaston.
Wouldn't that have been perfect if it happened then? Okay, what's your story?
Well, this is from just a few weeks ago at Crazy for You. Anita Bean, who was playing Tess in the production, was having a scene with Zangler, Joe Hines, and this huge locust flew into her wig and got stuck in it. And Anita is...
to say she's scared
is an understatement when it comes to bugs. With pretty much anything else, she'll knock you out in a dark alley. Because Anita is...
She's scrappy.
And she's buff. And but this bug, and she held it together. And I'm downstairs doing a costume change, and I hear her get into the dressing room and scream bloody murder. And
Mike was off.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure the forest rangers could have heard it down at Bonnie Springs at that point. But she started screaming, and none of the girls in the dressing room were going to go anywhere near that bug. So I come running, and she's like, "Get it out!" and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "How?" I don't have anything to grab. I was like, I need salad tongs. And so I ended up, I reached in my pocket, grabbed out a handkerchief, and just grabbed her wig and pulled this thing out. And it
fought you.
It still has the handkerchief because I just tossed it out. I threw it out the back door. I was like, I've got plenty more hankies.
Oh, the charm of the Red Rock Mountains and all the animals that live in it. Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do.
Stay for the bugs.
Yeah, exactly. I want to know all about Oliver, how the journey started, how it's going, and now that you're open, what you want to say to the patrons that have not yet purchased tickets that you would like to have come out and see. But first, I want to pass out ice cream because today is Ice Cream Sunday.
Yay!
And so here's what I got. Because he held down the fort. Shut up, it's my show. Now, here's the thing.
I could have changed the law.
He held down the fort for 2 weeks, so I got him a Choco Taco. So that's very important. And then the rest, there's a mixture, so I'm going to pass it around. And while you guys are picking your ice cream, I'm going to remind everyone that you can call into the station during our talking these next 2 hours. If you're
interested. You know what cellophane sounds like on the radio?
I'm going to turn you off. You call in at 221-7283. It's 221-SAVE if you would rather it spelled out for you. Also, this is really cool. On you iPhone people, if you go to the App Store, and there's a KSHP app that you can download for free. That app allows you to listen to this show and everything on KSHP live, so that if you don't want to fiddle with an AM radio, tuner or whatever, you can use that and listen to the show live. It's really, really, really cool. So maybe think about doing that.
And in addition, we videotape the show. There's my hand right there. So this will be up on YouTube, and we'll post links up on Facebook and on the Curtain Call webpage.
Kelly, you want an ice cream? come and get an ice cream.
Mom, do you want ice cream?
Mom, oh, is the mom out there?
Mom's here.
Mom needs an ice cream.
I've never had a Choco Taco before.
A Choco Taco?
What?
They are the best ever.
I grew up with drumsticks, which are essentially
It's a Choco Taco.
a cone-shaped Choco Taco.
I wanted to get your comments.
Oh my gosh.
Can I have one? I
like
don't.
it.
Can we
Sorry.
I'll take the leftover. That's fine. I just.
You know what? This is a little melty, and it's not going to stop me at all.
I think you need to just go for it. Speaking of food.
Glorious food?
Glorious.
Wait, I knew that there's a reason why all of a sudden it's Ice Cream Sunday, because every Sunday when I come out and bring freeze and
I'll have
it's
whichever.
very, very rude to eat
Yeah.
tacos and talk at the same time.
But but here's the thing. Tell us just a brief, with your mouth full. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Tell us a brief description of the musical for those who don't know the story. For those who are not literate and never have read a Charles Dickens passage at all. Tell us.
I have two parents. Sorry, I thought you said illegitimate. Sorry.
No, not illegitimate.
Never mind.
Tell us what Oliver's all about.
Oliver is a story written by Charles Dickens. It's the tale of a young boy who was assigned to a workhouse, which was a place for unwanted or discarded children. And
Discarded, I love it.
Well, and they were in a lot of cases. They were quite literally just handed over to the workhouse to get them out of the house, so one less mouth to feed. Oliver's journey is very exceptional in that he he does ask for more. If you don't know anything about Oliver, everyone has heard, "Please, sir, may I have some more?" And whether or not you know it's from Oliver, most people have heard that line at some point. And for those of you, it's from Oliver.
Right.
So he does ask for more food. They keep these children on gruel. He asks for more food and is sent away and sold to a funeral director and his wife to work at a funeral home. During his various and sundry journeys, he runs away from the funeral home and is found by some street urchins that are they're pickpockets that live under Fagin's hand. Fagin is the gentleman that this is his gang, his little gang of pickpockets.
And he's conveniently eating some ice cream.
He is conveniently eating some ice cream that he stole from Sarah. Give it back!
Sarah, say the line. You know that.
Oh, the iconic line.
Yes, the iconic line. Because he's got it, and you want it. Just.
Please, sir. I want some more.
One ice cream is enough for everyone, young lady. That's all I gotta say.
Can you get to Palm Mortuary? I mean, they're right down the road. We don't want to sell Sarah.
So they wind up in London.
They end up in London. Oliver ends up as part of this pickpocket gang. I don't want to give away the entirety of the story, but it's Oliver's journey of survival. If there's anything that can be said about this character, is that Oliver maintains his sense of hope and good, and continues to work from a place of hope and good, when everything externally is to the contrary. Oliver should be tainted, should be hard.
Yeah, and it's at a time that's really, really miserable.
And that's what's unique about this production.
Right.
And we didn't discuss it a couple weeks ago because the show hadn't opened, but now that
Right,
it has
now that it has.
occurred, you have taken the artistic license, if we will,
Absolutely.
to move Oliver.
There's so much ice cream everywhere, people.
Sorry.
That's all, that's all. Yeah, that's all Eric's mic right there, scratching.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Sorry, Chris.
Artistic license.
Yeah, artistic license. Thank you. To bring it into, and I'll say World War II.
It's actually
World War One.
It is World War II.
World War II. Okay.
It is the beginning of the London Blitz.
Okay.
Actually, the Blitz in London was from September of 1940 through May of 1941. We opted to start at the beginning of the Blitz, as towards the end of the Blitz, the city was much less functional than it was at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was a very specific choice to illustrate that there were big events. There's huge social upheaval in the original interpretation of Oliver, and in the writing of the play. It was a very socially deficient time. And it's a small story. It's a small story of hope. in the backdrop of this huge event. Britain during World War II, we may have all become familiar recently with the keep calm and carry on signs that they've recently found in England, and they're kind of everywhere. That was very true. The reason that England survived is because they were so quick to rebuild and put their country back together, and so focused on survival and so tenacious. And putting Oliver in this period absolutely speaks to the attitude and how strong Britain was at that period of time. So taking this small story and putting it on this equally dramatic backdrop.
Well, it's very apparent that time period speaks to you personally as the head of the visionary committee of the show.
Yeah.
And it usually, traditionally, I suppose, takes place at the turn of the century. And
around the 1870s.
Yeah, and
yeah,
so
that's how I'm familiar with the storyline. So this is
right, and that's
very interesting.
And that's where Dickens wrote it. That's when he was writing. He wrote of his time.
Right.
By moving it into the 1940s, it doesn't in any way pull away from that sense of struggle and people being so apparent in their need to survive. So when you see Fagin and Fagin's gang picking pockets and doing everything humanly possible to get by, that's absolutely what was happening in England at that time. But what I think is so beautiful about Dickens' writing is that this story is so true and so iconic and so filled with hope that you can take this huge backdrop and you can just pull your focus in and listen to this tiny story of this one boy's sense of hope and determination and willingness to survive.
If you're just not joining us, we're talking with Jeynifer Tribbitt. She's the director of Oliver at Super Summer Theatre. This is the British National Theatre of America, and we are.
Which, if you listen to it, is ridiculous. I know Glenn and I talked about this before, and it sounds very like we are the British National Theatre of America, and we're very important. If you take really about 30 seconds ago, the British National Theatre of America. Okay, just to show you how snarky we are as a group.
No, but we're talking about Oliver, the musical that's currently playing. It's going to be Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the following
You just finished your first week, so we have 2 more weeks out there. Tickets are $12 in advance through showtixforyou.com or I believe through the UNLV box office. Or you can spend the extra $8 and go drive up there and pray that they're not sold out and pay $20 up there.
That's, you know,
but in my opinion, I think it's worth it for the $20.
Yeah, but get your tickets in advance. It saves you the trouble.
Design.
You need to go see the show anyways. If you haven't seen Oliver, it's a great show to see on stage. I mean, you can always stay home during a rainy day these past couple days and read the book. But for crying out loud, why not go out and see with song and dance? I always have this joke that I said I had a bad experience with Oliver in high school. I wrote this big report and this big project about Oliver, and I got a C- because I explained my favorite part of the novel was the musical number "Consider Yourself."
Wow.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we're going to have to take a quick break. We will be back, and we're going to talk more with the cast from Oliver.
Yeah, we got to clean up our ice cream.
And Mikey's in the show too.
Yeah.
Yay!
We'll get to you guys.
Okay, Molly didn't notice that I was in the show.
That took like twice as long as I thought. See how Mikey kills.
Oh,
That
dude, give me ice cream. I
I
will
wasn't even
inhale
halfway
it.
done. That's amazing.
It's really good.
Yeah, did you get the strawberry one?
Did you hear the Maggie Wheeler stinger?
They're now.
It did just now.
You know what I tell you is I made a deal with the kids. If they read Oliver Twist, I would throw them a pizza Sunday party. And our final rehearsal inside Loftworks, I threw them a huge big pizza
With
ice cream
karaoke.
karaoke party.
Yeah, but who read the book?
A lot of them did. Sarah
they
That
did?
is awesome.
I thought it was just her. There was beer too.
That's a great idea.
That's right. You were.
The adults were allowed to stay, so.
There was a theater company that did Oliver in Jackson, Michigan when I was going to college. And they did something, and it was a big deal. They made a big deal about how 24 hours before opening night, they made all the kids go on a fast. And then I was thinking to myself, that's cruel. I was like,
They actually need that energy to, perform.
Yeah, before mellow performances, I give them coffee or
But
like espresso beans.
That sounds like something like you could have done early in the
Early in the rehearsal process,
I
lock
never
them in loft works.
I never starved them, but the scene where Alexa has to come in and she's all out of breath.
Oh.
And Sarah, there's a line where she's been running away and she's like, I've been running hard. Before we did that, I made her run in the heat with her backpack and sandals back.
There you go.
Floors
I
outside.
was watching going, what is
Did
going
you make her
on?
like wax a car or?
And then wax it off. Yes, it's a matter of, gosh, were you there, Glenn?
Let me sand the deck.
That's really funny, actually. Just go run around. Don't
I
trip.
was like, be tired. And
Well,
then she came and she was like, do I have to do this anymore? I'm like, no,
Well, you did
that's
the
how
boot
you
camp last year, so.
This was worse.
Very, very.
We got about
You hear that, Terrence?
45 seconds. I think it's appropriate to go into the next segment with the Deja Vu commercial.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I just think so. No, yeah. Oh, Lord.
Come to
I
Deja
know
Vu
all
where
of
you
I'm not going to sing
just like
anymore. I
you're
won't
at
sing
home.
anymore.
Because I did it in Disney Magic Music Days. We did an Oliver medley when I was growing up.
10 seconds.
I know.
Sorry, that's okay.
Yep.
Tropicana and
Glenn's mapping it.
That's not from Oliver.
Yes, that was news.
I was going to say that is not in Oliver.
No, it's not. But I was trying to find the lead-in stinger that was the closest to the era. You know, at least they all wear the same like hats. I think.
I'm glad you didn't choose a Sweeney Todd reference.
That'd be awesome. No, we're
Because Food Glorious Food would still work.
But
they'd be meat
different type of
pies.
food, glorious food. We're in the studio with the cast of Oliver. Super Summer Theater is presenting this musical this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The following Wednesday through Saturday as well, out at the Spring Mountain Valley Ranch. You need to go out and check this show out, folks. It's a great musical for the entire family. And talk about quality theater entertainment at a very reasonable price. If you get your tickets early, I think they're only $12. At the door, it's $20. And bring a picnic, sit out on the grass under the stars, and watch these young, very talented actors, actresses, performing, because it has a cast of young adults and a cast of adults, and they do a fantastic job. Now, before we kind of barrage you with all these questions, because I always love the juicy scoop on how, you know, what was the craziest thing that happened and all this stuff. I would love to hear from each of you as far as your personal journey, especially you two, because we haven't seen you on the show yet. Troy Tinker plays Fagin, and I got to tell you, Troy, it's probably one of my top 3 favorite theatrical characters of all time. Talk about an iconic role for a male character actor. It is a brilliant role. What has been your experience with this part in this show in general?
Well, I've been incredibly impressed with the kids because they have an amazing work ethic that would put some of the adult actors we have worked with to shame.
And the actresses too.
And the actresses too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Troy, you came into the show
a little late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, someone else didn't work out, so Jeynifer called and asked me if I would step into it.
And you did fantastic. And were you able to build a rapport up with the kids as well?
I think so. I've got 2 of my own that are all grown and 2 granddaughters that I love dearly. So I don't have any problem working with kids. I just give them a little swift kick once in a while.
Very Fagin-like.
It's with the
kick a little pocket or two.
Gotta kick a pocket or two. Yeah. No, but what have you found that this role has been more challenging or less challenging or more fun than other roles you've played?
Challenging for me physically because I'm going to be 55 in September and I am a man of some size and not in the best physical shape. So aerobically, it's been a good workout for me every night.
I'm glad Erik gave you a big ice cream bar.
It's ice cream Sunday.
And my breathing has improved, I think, every night a little bit. I used to joke initially that one of Fagin's big solos is reviewing the situation,
Right.
and I'm all over the stage
Mhm,
during that. And I told Jeynifer she's going to have 2 paramedics, a crash cart, and an oxygen tank waiting for me off stage.
That is awesome.
So-
That is awesome. I always say that if it's not a role that's going to challenge you to the point to where you're scared to death, it's never worth doing. You know,
Right.
there you go.
There, Sarah. Always be scared to death.
Yes.
That's Eric's advice.
That's true. That's very, very true. Now, Mikey Phillips plays Nancy, and talking.
Wait. We have a male actor playing a female. Oh.
No, Mikey.
That's
Just
funny.
kidding, Mikey. I know.
That's Lacage. That's Nick Season.
No, Mikey, I know Mikey. We've done shows before in the past, and she's extraordinarily talented young lady. And when I heard that you were cast as Nancy, I was like, of course. I was like, of course it's going to happen. And talk about another iconic role. I mean, just as long as he needs me, that song. That's probably one of the top 5 female solos in theater history that I just love to death. It's such a powerful ballad. What has been your experience with the show?
Well, what's actually interesting is that I guess I've always seen Nancy as older than I am. Well, and I look a lot younger than I am as well. So actually, Anita Bean convinced me to audition. I was like, there's no part for it.
You were doing Hairspray.
I
at
was
the
in
time.
Hairspray at the
Lots
time.
of shouts out to Anita Bean.
And she's the lead in Leader of the Pack. For the last show.
Today's program is brought to you by founders of the Anita Bean Foundation.
You know, in the morning when I want my coffee, I grind up a pound of Anita beans.
No. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
So yeah, so she actually convinced me to audition, and I was like, oh, okay, what the heck? And so I went and auditioned, and then I got the call that I got called back for Nancy, and all of a sudden I was like, oh. And then I was one of the oldest people at the callback.
Nice.
So I was like, okay.
Well,
And then
had you traditionally seen
always older. Anytime I've seen
See, and here's the thing.
Nancy,
I've seen Oliver live about 7 times, I think.
Mhm.
And I would say 3 out of the 7 times, it's a younger Nancy. The Bill and the Nancy are younger.
Because Nancy is. I'm sorry.
No, we got to swing this microphone.
One
around.
mic for
Sorry.
12 people.
And just Nancy is between 19 and 21 years old. Nancy is young, but because it requires such range vocally and such an enormous amount of skill as an actor, it's typically given to
And more experienced.
just somebody older that maybe has a little life experience behind
There you
them.
go.
But I have to say, Mikey does have this angelic little face. Like she's just like a pretty little cherub, just an adorable child.
For those of us that know
And
Mikey
then that
knows it's
woman
just a look.
walked into that audition and sang "As Long as He Needs Me." I mean, I teared up. It is unbelievable what this woman is able, from her very young years, to pull out and express vocally.
Well,
It's rich and amazing, and it's always what I wanted Nancy to
And
be.
as you were saying earlier, this is a show about hope. This is a show about persevering through adversity. And of course the main focus is on this young boy orphan. And a lot of people, and I've heard this a couple times, and I kind of just roll my eyes when they say that it's the male version of Annie because it's just kind of a coming. It's nothing like that. In fact, I would almost argue that the level of the layers in the particular story and in the different relationships and all everything that the main character in this musical goes through is very, very difficult and very different and kind of indicative to
It's almost a reverse Annie.
Kind of. If you think about it. Because in Annie, the focus almost always is primarily on the central character. Oliver, it's every character Oliver meets in his journey. We see how that relationship has affected this other character. Even the smaller characters like Mr. Bumble or Mr. Sourberry, these we see how this orphan boy who has got nothing in his heart but hope for the future and hope for a better tomorrow. And I won't go into the Annie thing, but it's really a very different type of musical.
Yeah.
And it's one that I think that in Mikey's song, As Long as He Needs Me, that's at a very, I won't give anything away, but it's at a moment where, boy, she's at her low. She's at a low right there. And then she turns around and sings the song about, and through tears and through heartache and through pain and suffering, I have hope. I have hope.
Tomorrow.
And Gosh, it's a hard.
Sun will come out tomorrow.
And just thinking about it, and here I am, I'm embellishing it a little bit because I have such a great affection for the piece. But seriously, if you haven't seen the show, it's a great show to kind of wrap your brain around because it really does relate to everybody.
Well, and I want to give the props to Sarah for doing that because I see Oliver in a little bit of a different way because Oliver is faced with these challenges, these adversities that are thrown at him, and whereas those characters are then influenced by this child who has had the worst of the world thrown at him, and they're affected in a positive way, and you would think that Oliver, just everything is just thrown into jail, thrown in a coffin, thrown off a building, whatever.
That happens to you?
You do your own stunts, right?
And Sarah portrays the character true to, at least I've never read the whole thing.
Now, Carrie, have you ever seen it?
I mean, Oliver Twist. I've never read the whole thing.
No, the only exposure I've had to Oliver is the music because I did an Oliver medley in elementary school at Disney Magic Music Days.
Nice.
So I know these songs that you're talking about, but I don't know
in context what they mean.
Yeah, is Nancy singing about Oliver in Humans Me? Because it doesn't sound like he needs a...
No.
Well, in the reprise a little bit, yes, I think. But initially, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't be shy. Grab this so we can hear your review.
Yeah, you're singing about Bill.
Yes.
Bill.
I'm singing to Bill, who is abusive, physically, verbally, emotionally.
We call it as long as he beats me backstage.
Well, the storyline we've kind of taken is that they grew up together in Fagin's gang, and from there,
you've become basically the parents to the kids. I mean, in the sense that you're the caregivers.
Oh yeah,
whereas
the first
Fagin's
scene you
just a
see me in,
manipulator.
I'm coming with Bet, who's her little sidekick, I guess you could say, and we're bringing them breakfast. We're here, what are you guys do?
Nice.
So,
okay.
And then we see Bill, and he's just not a nice guy at all.
So in 1920, your character is like a motherish figure to the orphans that are in Fagin's gang.
In
1940s.
1940s, okay.
Yeah, in 1920 she was born.
She was born.
She gets rolled in her bassinet.
It's kind of hard to keep up with.
Hey, sausages are moldy. I'm sorry, I love that line. I know it's from the movie and not the musical.
It isn't at all.
It isn't at all?
No.
I love that line in the movie. It's one of my favorite lines just because it cracks me up every time.
There's so much in the movie. That is actually an amazing point because my kids, because we've been doing Oliver, have been watching the movie pretty obsessively, and the movie's like 2.5 hours long.
But can I tell you something? There are moments. It is a little long. It is a little long.
No, but there's so much that if you're like, I love that movie. We obviously had to edit some for time at the ranch because we can't, we don't want people there until midnight. But what we edited was literally just a line here and a line there. We were so conservative with our editing. So everything that's there is the script. We didn't add any let's make this all 1940s and say it this way. Rah, rah. Everything is absolutely there. But there's a lot that isn't in the movie.
Did you find pacing to be of a huge concern? Because it was still, I didn't check my watch at all.
It's exactly an hour and 45 minutes, Glenn.
Is it?
Ooh.
No, I wasn't sure. No, and that's why I was wondering.
2 minute, Glenn.
I'll shut up. No, there's certain parts of the show that you want, like Food Glorious Food.
For those of you who don't know, Glenn's the only one that's seen it.
Yeah, and that was the scene where I wanted it to be a little bit longer. So, and that's why I was wondering if there was pacing, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't count the time. So I figured if things were going faster, it's because you needed to keep it under a certain time. So hour and 45, that's great.
Yeah, obviously we're trying to keep it. I mean,
at the ranch there's no intermission.
Right. There isn't exactly. Yeah. There isn't intermission. We have a lot of kids there, and 10 o'clock comes really, really soon. And
you start the show with Food Glorious Food. People are going to be running to the concession stand. You got to keep going.
Yeah, you got to keep going.
But you mentioned the movie was 2.5 hours long. A lot of things were cut from the Broadway show to the movie, but a lot of things were added
and expanded. Right.
Songs that were 5 minutes before became these 15-minute extravaganzas, where more and more people kept coming up and singing and dancing.
Exposure shots.
But I will tell you, I was 10 years old. It was 1968 when that movie came out, and I'm going to be 55 in September. Anyway. So anyway, I remember wanting to see that, and my parents had no love of musical theater. And I was the kind of kid who would walk down the street and make up a song about whatever I saw. And so I went on my own to see this in Dimension 150, one of those big. Remember those big semicircular movie screens? They called them Cinema. Nobody's that old in here. You're really right.
I remember them. I saw them in books.
It cost you a plug nickel to see that.
An Indian head nickel.
I went in with a quarter, saw a movie, had 2 bags of popcorn, got the cereal beforehand.
I remember walking out of there thinking, there are other people who just break into song. I'm home.
There's something funny and tragic about that.
And that's when Troy ran away from home and became an orphan.
I grew up in Arkansas, so
you left the theater
that was an escape.
I want some more.
Yes, exactly.
That is beautiful, though. I mean, the bug bites when it bites. For everyone, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Is that callback to the bugs that were flying to the ranch? Or
Exactly.
Are you referring to the theater bug?
Theater bug that landed on you, Sarah.
And bitter.
Well, let's talk about opening weekend, because last weekend was the first 4 shows of Oliver out at the ranch, and it's very exciting. We just finished Crazy for You out at the ranch
which was 2 hours and 5 minutes to be exact. It was a long show.
It was pretty long, but no, I'm not trying to say anything.
Colorful and beautiful.
No, because Eric and I didn't milk our scenes
Not at all. But here's the thing. Going into opening night, there's always... I'm going to talk to you, Sarah, because it's always very exciting to do a show. It's always very exciting to watch it in rehearsals and see it come to life, and all of a sudden we're in costumes and we have set pieces and lights, and then before you know it, we have a whole bunch of people in front of us. And what do you think? Do you like how it kind of builds and builds, and then all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of people in front of you? How is that for you? Do you like that sort of thing?
I love it. It's really exciting.
How different is it from rehearsals?
From rehearsals, it's really different because you're in a live audience. So in rehearsals, if you mess up a line, you can just go back. But while you're doing a show, you have to really go with it. So it's different, but it's really fun.
That's great. Have you been enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
Well, and it must be hard. Do you feel a lot of pressure? Because you're the title role. If you're playing Hamlet in Hamlet, oh boy, you better be pretty good at Hamlet. How you feel? Let me tell you, no pressure. Do you feel a lot of pressure in this role as opposed to other roles you've done?
Well, it is my first title role, so sometimes, yeah, but I really just I'm learning a lot. So.
Good for you, kiddo. Good for you. That's awesome. How about you guys now? Leading up to opening night, how's the journey been for you in coming to opening night?
I think with all shows, I've realized this. 2 nights before, everyone was like, "This is never going to happen. We're not going to have a show."
I know that.
I was just in Hairspray with Signature, and I remember 2 nights before, we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is a train wreck," and somehow it just all comes together.
You know what? I saw you guys before your opening night, and it was a great show. There was missing pieces, but you wouldn't know by the way your cast was performing. You wouldn't know that there was, the thing at the end where they're keeping score between.
The
scoreboard.
Yeah, scoreboard. That board where they keep score. What is that called?
That's because it's a sports reference, Glenn.
That's funny.
This is a sports station. Having been in that moment where this isn't going to happen, I saw Hairspray before it opened, and it was great then. And I saw it 2 more times, and it just got better. So.
And that's a testament to kind of live theater in general. I would argue that opening night is not unlike kind of the whole hopeful expectation of leading up to opening night to the reclaiming of what you're hoping to do as you get ready for the second weekend, as you look forward to closing the show. It's all part of this journey, and that's the cool thing about theater. If you want to watch Mel Gibson in Hamlet, you just put the DVD in, you watch it. You want to see that scene over again, it's the exact same thing again and again.
Yeah.
But theater, no matter how good or how, oh my gosh, my hair's going out, whatever. Wherever you're at, there's always going to be a journey, and it's always going to be different, and it's always going to be something to look forward to. And so here's the thing, especially those who maybe are on the fence about going out to Super Summer Theater, don't let the fact that we had a few days of rain freak you out, all right? Now, here's the thing. It's the desert. If you don't like the weather, hang around for an hour. It'll change. It's like...
And the weather that's down here is not the weather that's up there.
This is true. You need to go and see this musical. It's one of those... gosh, the summer is so great because... It's one of those experiences where you don't have to necessarily be a tried and true appreciator of theater. You don't have to have your playbill tucked neatly under your left arm in order to appreciate this. You need
or speak with a British accent.
It does.
That is what an appreciator sounds
That's
like.
it, indeed. And so it's kind of you need to go out and check this out. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. We're going to take another quick break here. We'll be back with the cast of Oliver. We're going to talk a little bit more about what to expect if you go out to the Super Summer Theater.
Expect
Ranch.
a great show.
Expect a great show, but we're gonna talk a little bit more than that.
Okay.
See you in a minute.
This is now melted and it's threatening to leave the package.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say thank you, Mother dear.
Do you have a trash can,
Alright.
Matthew?
They gave me I just did not care.
Do you have a trash can back there?
Yeah, I'm afraid to
Want to
move
go
that,
into
huh?
something else? We don't play the same.
I know. I kid you not. I almost did not audition. You want water? I was like, there's no part for me. There's no part for me.
Yay, soupy ice cream. Thank you, Kelly.
Wasn't that a performer in the? Oh, that was Soupy Sales.
Soupy Sales, soupy ice cream, soupy sales.
I honestly didn't know that.
I decided to audition the night before.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Anita was like, just come.
He's got to listen for
She goes, just come. She goes, I'm sure you have something in your back pocket you can just do. She's like, just do it.
And what did you sing for the audition?
What was in your pocket?
I sang someone else's story on chess.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite musicals.
You told me that when I sang it.
I'm glad you didn't sing One Night in the Park. That would have been great.
That's why you got the part. No, but you were perfect. You are perfect. I always wanted somebody.
She really wanted Oliver though, and there's been a real.
I wrote Oliver.
Here's the thing between the.
Did you really? Sorry.
I was like, I asked Anita, I was like, who am I auditioning for?
Yeah, we're okay.
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with great education.
That's my jam.
Do the same. Keep your cool.
I'm on that.
Kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
Were you happy when you were cast?